Welcome back, everybody. I know it's been quite a while, hasn't it? But I thought I'd just come back to you just before Christmas to give you a bit of an update to see the year out and to let you guys know exactly what's been happening. I had a few things going off. I've not posted anything for quite some time. I had a lot going off at work, in life, you know. Yeah, just in general, really. Yeah, but as for the pond, which is what you're all here for, quite a few things really. I've moved a few fish on. I've got rid of probably maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 fish, something like that. So they've gone off to the new home. So now I'm left with about, I don't know, 14 fish left in pond. There's still maybe 2 or 3 what I'd like to move on. Obviously my pond isn't the biggest of ponds, it's only like 2,200 gallons, and obviously fish grow, space runs out, so you need to make that space up somehow, which is what I'm trying to do. Plus I'd like to improve the stock what's in there already, heading into probably not next year but the year after, 2027. I'd like to enter into a couple more shows, so I'd like to get 2 or 3 better fish in my pond ready for them. So that's where I'm at with the pond. The fish what I moved on was a Matsue Sankey, it was a Dainichi Sankey, a Maridoka Haku, a Dainichi Benigoi, and I'm sure there was something else, but I can't for the life of me think what it was. I don't know, I can't remember. But anyway, they've gone down to about 14 fish now or so, something like that. But they're doing okay. They're doing okay. There's just one fish, which is my Momotaro Kahaku, which won size 5 champion at the junior koi show. She started filling out quite a bit actually, but not for the best. She's getting really full of eggs, and she's really started to fill out on both sides. I don't know how you can see that, but she is really starting to belly out on both sides. You can just see her carrying them at the back of her. Yeah, so she's carrying quite a few eggs, which is really messing with her body shape. So what I'm going to do about that, I've spoke to Rick from New Forest Koi, just got a bit of advice off him, and rather than dealing with it this year, you know, because we are obviously just heading into winter just about, I'm going to leave the temperature down through the winter, probably take the pond down to about 12 degrees, something like that. It'll slow the fish down. Obviously they're not going to be interested in any spawning at that temperature or anything like that. Metabolism will slow right down, and hopefully she'll use some of those proteins from the eggs through the winter, try and maybe reabsorb some of them, or maybe you know, use some of that fat to try and slim her down a bit. And then what else she'll do come springtime, once temperatures start rising back up again, try and trigger a spawn. Now I'm not really too keen on letting her spawn naturally, because I don't want her getting damaged, and spawning, you know, it is brutal. When you see them go at it, you know, they do take quite a battering, so I'm not too keen on letting that happen. You know, I don't really want pond full of eggs neither. So yeah, once we start getting up to them temperatures next springtime, if it looks as though they're wanting to spawn, I might see if I can whip her out at pond and try and see if she'll hand strip, you know, if she's loose, if the eggs are loose, if they'll, you know, basically fall out on. I don't want to force them out of it and risk damaging her internals or ovaries or anything like that. So we shall see how she is come springtime, and go from there, I think. But you can just about make out how she's holding them at the back of her. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Rick says she'll be all right through winter carrying them eggs. It shouldn't be a problem, so I'll go with Rick on that one. Another thing what I've been dealing with as well is, what would it have been now? Maybe 2 or 3 weeks back, something like that. I thought my heater had packed in because I came out one morning and noticed that the temperature dropped in the pond, and I'm wondering what was going off. And after having a look, I just had a look at the heat pump. I had a look around the back, and I noticed that all the back was frozen up, really frozen up. You know, all the evaporator, it was really bad. You know, I've never seen it like that before. The ice must have been like, I don't know, 2 inch thick on back of it, to the point it got to where the ice was actually coming out the back of the casing of the heat pump. It was so bad. And so obviously it weren't going into a defrost or anything like that. So I'm starting to panic, wondering, you know, what's going off with it. You know, I'm trying to go through a few troubleshooting things, trying to find out exactly how other people's thermotechs were set up in the parameters and things like that. Wondering whether the heat pump itself had some sort of refrigerant leak on it. I had a look in the case. I couldn't see anything obvious. I couldn't see any oil staining or anything like that to give me any signs that there was a refrigerant leak. So yeah, obviously people give me some of their readings, which gave me a bit of peace of mind that the refrigerant was okay. I went through my D parameters, and I did change a couple of D parameters on there. But what I did for a start to get all the ice melted off to begin with, to clear it, was I put it into cooling mode, because then it works in reverse rather than heating the water into the pond. Obviously it'll cool it, but by doing that it sends heat round the evaporator, so then it'll melt all the ice what's on it. Basically like a fridge, really, like a fridge would work. So that melted all the ice. I changed a couple of D parameters. I switched off the heat pump at the mains for about half hour or something like that, turned it back on, and I don't know, for some reason it started working perfectly fine again. So what happened there, I do not know, but it gave me a bit of panic to begin with. I thought I was going to end up having to fork out for, I don't know, a big repair or a part, or, you know, even possibly an heat pump. I didn't know, because I didn't know what was happening with it. But thankfully it's okay, and it's now working perfectly fine. So yeah, that was that drama. The windows had a really good clean, because that were getting ready as well. That were getting to a point where you couldn't even see through glass. I've actually took the net off the pond now, because I've actually bought some polycarb to see me through winter. Obviously you guys will know that last year I built an enclosure around it. You know, I'm not going to do that this year because it's too much fannying about. So yeah, this year I've actually bought some polycarb sheets to see me through. So I've got 3 sheets here what will cover the pond. These are 35mm 7-wall polycarb sheets, and I went for these ones purely because 35mm, nice and rigid, it's not going to bow, it's not going to sag in pond. You know, they're nice and structural. They're really solid, these are. So they'll take some bowing if there's any rain, snow or anything. But yeah, they should be all right. And obviously with them being 7-wall, obviously you can't see it because I've taped all gaps up. With it being 7-wall, it leaves plenty of air trapped inside there, which will provide a lot of insulation for the pond, so minimal heat can escape from the water. So yeah, they have been doing the job really well. only took them off now because obviously I did have that net on pond, what you'll remember. Well, I've whipped that off now, so it don't need to be on there now. Obviously now I've got the polycarbonate sheets, so yeah, I've whipped that off, get glass clean, yeah, and then them sheets will see me through. But other than that, guys, the fish have been doing okay. I've really slowed the feeding down now. The pond sat at 16.5 degrees. I'm winding it right down to 12 degrees. Like I say, I want to wind it down as low as possible without upsetting fish too much. Doing it gradually over a slow period of time, and then hopefully, like I say, those low temperatures will help that kahaku to burn some of them proteins out of eggs, to try and, I don't know, get her back in some sort of shape and burn a bit of that fat off, maybe. I don't know, but we'll see anyway. Can't do any harm, I'd have thought. So yeah, that's about it for them. And like I say, winding them down, they're looking well. Everything in here is doing well. What I'm actually going to do before I do actually fully winterize this pond is I'm going to get a full PP dose just to see them through and get everything ready as we come back into springtime, so there's no surprises. So that'll be getting done in next, I don't know, I'll do it in next week or so. Yeah, everything in here is okay. Just wait for that drum to stop going. So yeah, everything in here is doing a-okay. Drum is doing absolutely fantastic. Not skipped a beat. So all's doing well there. Bio's running well. Water parameters are all doing good. So yeah, everything is doing a-okay, guys. I had a bit of a dabble in a couple of auctions what's just gone by, the Narita auctions. Lost out on a fish there, unfortunately, just my bloody luck. Really nice fish as well, but it wasn't to be. There was another fish in, there was another auction, I can't remember what that were. Slips my mind now which auction it were, but I didn't get that. Oh, I think it was the Nagata Breeders auctions, I think it were. I had my name in for fishing that wasn't to be. But such is life. We'll find something. I am actually going to be attending Shoshikoi's festive harvest event it's on the 27th and 28th of December. They're holding an event so people can see all the autumn harvest fish what they've bought in. So you never know, I might see something there and pick up something there. We'll have to see what they've got. I always like to see them in person if possible anyway, but sometimes when you're on these auctions, it's, you know, you're scrolling through and you're seeing fish, it's difficult to not put your name in for something. But yeah, these auctions, they becoming so difficult, and sometimes it can be difficult for things to go your way, so to speak. But like I say, it is what it is, and hopefully I'll see something at some point at the festive harvest or wherever, who knows, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Another thing what I'm going to be trying different for next season is I'm actually going to be trying a switch up of food. So I've been really big on using sake akari for the past few years. It's done me really well. No doubt sake is one of the, if not the top koi foods out there. You know, there's no doubt in what it does, what results you can get from it. I've seen that myself. But obviously, as we know, you know, things are becoming more expensive. Just life in general is becoming more expensive. So, you know, at some point something has to give. And not just that as well though, it's one of them things, the koi hobby is constantly evolving, and if you're not, I don't know, I guess if you're not trying new things, you never learn as such. So I'm actually going to be giving the Nutrimare food a try for next season. I'm going to give it a full season and see what it's all about, because, you know, I've heard good things about it. I've held off for as long as possible, and I just feel that I'm at a point now where I'm ready to give it a try. Like I say, I know people that's had good results on it, and if you don't try these things, if you never try anything new, then you never move forward and you never learn for yourself, you never come to your own conclusions. So like I say, that's why I've discussed with Dan as well, not just Dan, but I've spoke to Manuel, very knowledgeable guy on koi food and koi nutrition. Spoke to them both at length, and so decided that I'm going to give it a try for next season, give it a full year and see what comes of it. So I'm really looking forward to that venture. So I'm actually not going to order my food though until, I don't know, maybe February, March time, because I don't want to order it now, because I'm not going to be using it all through winter and, you know, until springtime. So I don't want to buy food now and just let it sit there. I want to buy fresh food, so I'm not buying it now. I'm going to wait till nearly springtime and then buy it, so it's as fresh as it possibly can be. So yeah, then hopefully, you know, we can see how it performs for me in my pond. As we know, every pond's different. Every fish react differently to food, so it's going to be interesting to see what I can get from it. Yeah, really looking forward to it. I've still got foods down here that I actually, you know, need to get rid of. I've still got a full bag of Kiyomizu food there, what I won at the junior koi show. There's a full bag of 5 kilo bag of sake growth in there. This has still got about, well, just under half, I'd say, and this is actually a mixture of food in here. So in here we've got FD build-up, we've got sake akari colour, there's a bit of JPD Shogun in there. Basically I just mixed it all together because I needed to get through it, you know, to try and get rid on it, because obviously when I start using the Nutrimare, this is just going to be sat going stale. So, you know, I need to try and get through it and get rid on it. Obviously with this being open, it's just going to go stale. That what's already sealed up ain't going to be too bad. Obviously it's not been opened, so that shouldn't be too bad, but yeah, need to get through that. The feeder hasn't been on the pond. I've just been feeding the fish, hand feeding them, just been giving them like 3 or 4 feeds a day, just you know, just an handful like that each time, maybe a couple of handfuls depending on how they're reacting, how hungry they are. So still got that to get through yet. And then in here, what I've still got to get through, I'm never going to get through all this. I've just got too much food. I've still got probably about a quarter of a bag of sake growth there, and then again about half a bag of sake colour in there. So yeah, absolutely piles of food to get through yet. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm probably not even going to do it, because like I say, the pond is going to be starting to be dropped in temperature. I can't feed colour and growth at them temperatures. They'll eat it, but they'll just get no benefit from it. It'll just go straight through them, just leave fatty deposits in the gut, and it'll just do them no good. So yeah, I don't know. Honestly don't know what I'm going to do with it, but we shall see. I'm certainly not going to let it go to waste, because it's too bloody expensive to waste. One of the other things that's also important to remember as well is some people go into winter pretty much let the system, you know, slow right down. and you know, the fish go dormant because of the temperature of the water. But even though things are only still slowly ticking over, it's still important to make sure that all your equipment's maintained. You know, you still make sure you're doing, you know, water changes, because even though the fish may not be eating as much or eating very little, they are still producing ammonia. They still do produce ammonia through the gills, through breathing and things like that. So you still need to make sure that you are looking after your water still. Even, you know, you might not be changing as much water, but you still need to make sure that you are doing water changes. And like I say, keeping an eye on your equipment, because things do happen. You can get complacent through winter time. You know, you see, sometimes you can just seem to forget about it. But that's really one of the worst things you can do, and you know, that's when it can bite you in the arse when you're least expecting it. So you need to make sure that you are keeping on top of things as much as possible through the winter time, just like you would do through summertime. So, you know, even through summertime, when there's, you know, a foot of snow on the ground, I'll still be coming up here to check everything. I'm going to be keeping my trickle going into my filter, just to keep a small amount of water refreshed all the time. And yeah, I'll be, like I say, I'll be up here every day as I usually am, just to make sure everything's ticking over, and we're not going to have any nasty surprises. And speaking of nasty surprises, what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to go back out. I'm going to get them covers back on pond. Obviously, like I say, I've took the net off now, so we don't want any surprises when we're coming downstairs in the morning with fish on ground. So I'm going to go out, get them covers back on pond, and then they'll be nice and cozy. They'll be as snug as a bug in a rug. Plus, they'll help keep eating bills down as well. Even though it's only going to be kept at, like, you know, 12 degrees or something like that, it's still going to help to keep that heat in the pond, so the heat pump's not working as much through winter time. I think last year we had temperatures down to about -7. You know, it just helps the heat pump out so much more, just by, you know, keeping that heat in. Especially, you know, with this thick polycarbonate sheeting, 35mm 7 wall. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant for retaining heat. So anyway, I'm going to go out, get them back on, and I'll give you a look after. So there we have it, guys, all done and dusted. Took me all 5 minutes, if that. But yeah, these covers, like I say, I bought these brand new, this 35mm polycarb, 3 sheets. It is 2.5 meters by 2.5 by 1.05 each sheet. 3 sheets, I think it cost me 250 quid, something like that. But it is what it is at the end of the day. It does the job I need it to do. They're nice and strong. It'll keep the warmth in, and you know, they'll last. So I can't ask for much more, you know. For 250 quid, to me, you know, I think it were worth the investment, rather than having to fanny about each year building an enclosure. It'll do what I need it to. They've got a place where gases can exchange. So there's a gap through front where the window is, and then at the back of the pond, just on the back edge of the last cover, there's a gap, probably about that much, something like that, about 1.5 inch gap, maybe 1.25 inch gap, something like that. So air can flow through, and you know, that exchange can take place. So there's airflow going underneath. So you know, no gases build up, because obviously as your pond degasses, you know, you get carbon dioxide, nitrogen build up and things like that. So that airflow just allows that gas exchange to take place, while still retaining the heat of the water somewhat. So yeah, I'm happy with that, and it'll do the job. Right, that's going to be it for me on this one, guys. I just wanted to come back with you just with a bit of an update. I've not uploaded anything in a while, and I know it's not really been much or anything. I didn't really have much or anything to film, but like I say, I just wanted to come I just wanted to come on, give a bit of an update as to what's happening, what's been going off, and more than anything, just to wish you all a Merry Christmas. I hope Santa brings you everything that you've asked for. Yeah, just a Merry Christmas to all of you. Maybe I'll see some of you guys at the Shosha Harvest event. Like I say, it's on the 27th and the 28th of December, so maybe I'll see some of you there. If not, I shall see you sometime, no doubt, next year at the koi shows or wherever. So yeah, have a nice Christmas, guys, and Happy New Year. See you later.